And now for more on greenhouse gases and what should be done, we're joined by Kari Fulton. She's an award-winning environmental and climate justice advocate and the founder of the website checktheweather.net. Well, last time we checked the weather with Owen, it wasn't great around the rest of the world. What's going on here? Is it that things are getting worse far more quickly than predicted, or is it the lack of collective will to do something about it is the biggest problem here?
It's both.
Yeah.
It's both. I think that the science decided that, okay, look, we're looking at a bigger issue than what we immediately expected to be. And then we also are seeing a global shift where you're seeing more climate deniers in leadership. And they're taking away from some of that energy that was going towards clean energy and a renewable energy economy, and we have to bring that back.
So you're talking about U.S. leadership mainly. Give me an example of the knock-on effects of that.
Yeah, I would say U.S. leadership. I would say what you're seeing in Brazil, even what you're seeing in Bolivia. You're seeing a shift where people are fearing what it means to really talk about climate change, and we have to shift that. In the United States specifically, we have to get a president and we have to get an administration and a congressional representation that really wants to focus in on our futures, because that's really important.
Well, under the Paris Climate Agreement, you know, there's benchmarks 2030, 2050. How are we failing, and can we catch up, and how do we do that?
It's going to be an aggressive pitch to really catch up. If we're really going to do something, it's the countries like the United States that has to step up. It's the UK that has to. They've already been making a lot of retrofits. They've been doing a lot to clean our energy, but they have to step up more. And then also China, they've doing a whole lot. They have to step up even more, and it's going to take a lot of creative ideas. And it's also going to take focusing in on how people are impacted, because it doesn't help to have a clean environment where there's no human rights.
And also economic opportunities. You know,
Exactly.
Got to deliver growth at the same time as delivering solutions for climate change. How do you balance that?
There's so many opportunities for growth when we look at a new clean energy economy. We're seeing wind and solar, even this year, they produce more energy than coal. So that's a big thing. If we're focusing on the future, we are focusing on a better economy for the people who really need it, the people who want to get invested in a new economy, and also for young people who are looking at educational opportunities. If we invest today, we can save tomorrow. But if we don't,
in a way, there's a generational difference here, isn't it? It's the polluters of the past who are in power now, and those who will inherit the planet when all those people have passed on are going to be dealt with the problem. How do we get rid of that sort of generational disconnect that we've seen a lot of in the last few months?
Well, I think there are people within every generation that know we have to step it up. I don't think that it's a generational issue. I think it's a money issue. I think that there are people who are benefiting from these old, dirty energy economies, and they don't want to lose out. They want to keep their money. I understand that. If I had a lot of money, I may want to keep my money too. But at the end of the day, it's about making sure that everyone can thrive and survive, because you can't eat money.
So where do you see the biggest bang for the buck in terms of climate change policy? Where do you think the resources should be focused?
I think that the resources should really be focused on adaptation more than anything. I think climate change mitigation is important. I think that when we focus on how do we put a cap on carbon emissions, especially here in the United States, and also how do we stop putting subsidies into dirty energy? Let's put that onto renewable energy that's actually clean and just, and that isn't going to create a new issue that we're not even prepared for. I think that's really important. I also think it's important for our economy to focus in on shifting the conversation and looking at infrastructure from a climate adaptation perspective. The more that we focus on our infrastructure, the more that we're putting people back to work, and also the more that we're cleaning up our environment as well.
Well, Kari Fulton, thanks so much for putting it so perfectly for us. We really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.